This week, we're learning about agents. And what could I ring my agent for?
It's actually insane these days. They'd ring their agent before they ring like the emergency services.
It's only going to be 400 grand a week.
Yeah.
5% off that. Jesus Christ. You do the lottery, don't you?
Famous one where Balotelli set off fireworks in his house.
Yes, he did.
And he rung his agent, licensed agent. They don't like letting you watch certain games. You won't be allowed.
Do they not?
Agents like having players move a lot.
Yeah.
Because they get money every time they move.
They bought you.
They bought me with a pair of Nike trainers and a pair of Nike boots. Ballstalk agency.
Why not?
We could do that. Listen, why don't we?
Right, cut the cameras. We're setting up an agency. Yes, people, welcome back to Ball Talk. I'm your host, Noah, and as always, I'm here with footballer Lewis, but no Ken Charles today.
How dare he?
Week off. What are you going to do with these strikers, eh? The worst. Anyway, this is one of our insight episodes where me and you find out everything about the footballing world from Lewis. For the past couple of weeks, we've done tactics and managers. Go back and listen, obviously, if you haven't. This week, we're learning about agents.
Yes.
Bit elusive, so we're going to find out some things today. But before we start, my favourite segment we do in any of our podcasts, reading some comments. So,
I'm ready.
I've picked some out from social media off various videos. First one here. Did he actually see Iniesta play? Iniesta's not 90.
Yeah, that was based at you.
That was at me because I said Iniesta was better than most midfielders. Iniesta was my childhood. That Barcelona team I watched regularly. That midfield three of Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets.
The best ever.
Yeah. And then when I said to him, have you seen Iniesta play? He went, yep. So thanks for that. Thanks for the chat. We've got non-Chelsea supporters have the maddest selection for our team. Why the F would we want Kai Havertz back?
I mean, he's left you to go to a higher team.
Yep.
And been one of their best players, scoring goals.
Correct.
So why would you not want him back?
Yeah, absolutely. These the type of guys to judge a player off their FIFA rating.
I haven't played FIFA in about 5 years.
I've not played FIFA in about 2 years.
So
that one's done.
Yeah, there we go. That's silenced.
And if you bring up FIFA, you play it too much.
Yeah.
It says his name here. I won't say his name, but it has 04 in it. He's a young'un.
Yeah,
he
he's
plays
young,
FIFA. Exactly.
Gen Z.
What else have we got? Bellingham. Someone's just put Bell in because of your. They love your accent.
It's every single week that I get slated for how I say my English.
We had footballers, and we've now got Bellingham.
Yeah, well, Bellingham.
There we go.
Bellingham.
Very regal. Just a couple more. Who are these guys? Are they okay? Waffle.
Correct.
That was for the Man United team.
Did we waffle? A lot of people agreed with us.
A lot of players would get into the Man United team. Let's go. Last one. So many wrong in 1 minute. To which you replied, just an opinion, mate. This is the thing, right? We love talking to you lot in our comments about opinions. But because I think Iniesta's better than Zidane, not a mental shout.
No.
Doesn't mean we know nothing about football. We just differ on opinions.
I wouldn't be upset if either of them are better than the other.
If you want to message me and say, hello, mate, I think Zidane's better than Iniesta, I'll say, fair play, that's your choice.
Yeah. But whether we say something like Man City are bottom of the league, that is factually wrong.
Yes, exactly.
So that's when you could get onto us.
That would be zero ball knowledge.
Yeah.
Right, Lewis.
Yes.
Agents.
Yeah.
What do they do?
Agents, what do they do? Well, the main thing they do, I suppose, is they broker your deals for you. They want to get you the best deals in terms of the best route for you to play, which club you want to play at, and also the best contracts you can get. You know, the most money, the most years, places you're going to play, stuff like that. So that's the basic, but they do a lot more as well.
Yeah, which I don't think I know.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people know the extent to what agents do. Because, in my opinion, contracts.
Yeah.
That's it. And even then, I think I've had in my head that the agent will have a lawyer that will look through it and he won't really do that. Yeah. He's just a sales guy that goes, no, my geezer needs 10 grand more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, within an agency, generally, especially the bigger agencies, they'll have like their own lawyers there for the players to look over that stuff.
Okay.
They'll have their own financial advisors, stuff like that. So these days, the agents, basically their role is to take care of everything off the pitch for the footballer, so the footballer can just focus, have a clear mind just on how he can play football, preparing and playing well in matches.
So you have to trust your agent quite a lot.
Yeah, you need to get an agent you can trust. That's probably what you want over anything, because it is an industry and it is a job, agents, where they have a bad reputation of sort of like money grabbing.
Yes.
And are they thinking about the best interest of the player or best interest that makes the most money?
Yeah.
Like you could go here, this club for, which will help the player's career, or you could go to this club where they're offering the agent 10% more.
Yeah.
The agent's going to pick most likely that one.
Yeah.
Unless they have that really good connection, you trust them. So
there's a lot of it. Is a lot of it word of mouth, like who you would go for. So you would have a teammate that would say, "I've got a great agent, mate."
Yeah. So I got signed by I got signed by an agent when I was 16. But we parted ways after a few months because they actually had like some personal problems, so that's retired.
Fine, yeah.
So then when I was talking to different agents after that, I actually got recommended through one of the players at Palace who was with this agency, and the coach was with the agency as well. So I went down that route because they recommended them highly to me.
Didn't even think about coach being
an
agent.
Well, a lot of coaches have been players, so it carries over. You still earn a good wage. You still need to get bought and sold by.
So if you are a player and you have an agent,
yeah,
would they then be able to do the same job if you become a manager, or is there like different things you have to think about? I guess it's a contract, isn't it?
No, yes, you have the same. If you stick with your agency, you have the same agent. They'll do the same things. It's just you're not going to be getting like performance bonuses. Probably not as much as a footballer. The contract just differs from a player to a manager. As I'm sure everyone knows.
I think that makes sense. Could you be an agent? Is it a career path you've ever thought about going down?
It's something I've thought about. In recent years, it's quite common for footballers to go, ex-footballers to go down the agent route.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Like ex-footballers will either be like coaches, pundits, or agents if they want to stay in the game. And it didn't used to be like that. From what I know, it used to be a lot of like they'd come from just a complete business background of like, I don't know, owning their own company and something completely different. And they're, like you said, they're that salesman, very savvy, and that's what the agents would be. But these days, you get a lot of ex-players being agents. Whether that's just because it's an easier thing to go down. If you're a big name player, like let's say you're a player, right? And I don't know who's a big ex-player, Rio Ferdinand.
Yes.
Right. If he comes and says, right, I want to be your agent, are you going to say yes?
Yeah.
Over someone who's you've never heard of, but you've heard he's a good agent.
Yeah, because I guess there's a familiarity, and the best people in any industry are the people in that industry, right? Obviously. But if a footballer's been a footballer and had an agent, easy to transition.
Yeah.
That makes much sense.
Yeah, so would I be an agent? I've thought about it, but not at this age I wouldn't. It's not something I'd rule out, because I do like the idea of helping young players as well, but I understand how savage the business is. I remember an agent telling me once that he was trying to work out a deal with this player. He wasn't obviously signed with the player, but he was trying to help him sort this move out. And he'd been working for months and months on this one deal. He had it over the line, ready to sign. And then he lost contact with the player for a couple of days. And then you see on Sky Sports News that player had gone and signed for somewhere else. And he's obviously gone with a different agent. And he's put months and months into that. And it's like, listen, if you're the player and I'm working with you for months, and you're getting me this deal, working really hard, and then all of a sudden, you're working for me to go to Arsenal. All of a sudden, some other agent comes in and says, "I've got you Real Madrid, more money." I've never met this agent. You might still go with him.
Great. Is there no sort of like non-compete? You're not like attached to that agent. Can you just up and leave?
No. So it depends if you're signed on to the contract with the agent.
Yeah,
some players won't be signed on to a contract. They'll use different agents for different deals, which isn't I don't like that route because it's very like. I prefer to have a personal relationship with my agent, so they've got the best interest for me.
I do agree, but in a way, makes sense because like there might be an agent that's done loads of Real Madrid.
Yeah,
there might be an agent that's done loads of Bournemouth. So
of course.
I get it, but I think most individuals prefer a personal touch, wouldn't they?
There's risks with being signed on to agents as well, though, because then once you're signed on, and then if there's a point you don't like them, I've known agents to. There's players I think you're not that great. And then over the next 5 years they've got moves to really good clubs, but they keep moving and moving. And I'm thinking, so the agent's obviously got really good connections, and the agent gets more money every time you move. So it benefits an agent more if you have 5 transfers in 5 years than just 1 transfer in 1 year.
That makes so much sense.
So that's why it is a really like tricky business to navigate.
Yeah,
it's a really big decision and it's hard to get right.
100%. And do you need to have qualifications?
So there used to be like a big joke about this I don't know if it was without like people outside of football, but it used to be really easy to become an agent. Like
really?
You literally do a half-hour exam, and it's one of them exams that 99% of people will pass. Like,
really?
As long as you're a functioning human, you'll pass it.
Some of our commenters won't be.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But I think might have been September last year, if around that time. I could be off by a few months, but they changed the rules where you've got to basically go down a like proper qualification about it, and then do an exam at the end where I think 40% of current agents failed the exam. No, 40% passed, so 60% failed the exam.
Wow.
So that shows that a lot of the agents that were agents weren't fit for the job.
Bit wheeler-dealery.
Yeah.
Right.
So now it's like a lot harder to become one.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of any footballers not having an agent? Could you get by without an agent? Boys, as footballers, do you wear grip socks?
Yeah, I do. I've always wore grip socks when I played, just to stop your foot sliding around in the boot. It makes a big difference compared to when you're wearing the standard long socks.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, they help massively in like preventing blisters and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I'm a big fan.
I think blisters is a massive thing. I've found that on hard AstroTurf. These have been an absolute godsend. And these are fit knit grip socks. If you want to get your own, you can use code BT10 for 10% off. Head over there now and grab yourself some.
You could get by without an agent. Like I said, you might just have a month period where you use someone to broker the deal.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a big move, you do need someone to help you with the move. You can't just do that as a player yourself.
So I couldn't get my dad.
Like some people do get their family, but then their family sort of take that role as a full-time role.
Yeah, fair.
And your dad's a perfect example. We were speaking about trust.
Yeah.
A lot of people trust their dad more than anyone else. Yeah. So that's probably the only route I've seen where players, if they don't have an agent, they'll go down their family will look after them.
Right.
But you're going to ask yourself, will the family they have your best intentions, but will they get the best deal compared to a business savvy agent who's 20 years in the game?
Massive balancing act, that, isn't it? You've got to get the best of both worlds. We've discussed agents doing contracts a lot. Yeah. What else do they do? What could if I'm sat there and I've got an agent, what could I ring my agent for?
It's actually insane these days.
Is it?
I know players who are in this bubble and are so far from reality. They would ring their agent about absolutely anything. They'd ring their agent before they ring the emergency services.
Shut up.
The house is on fire, they'd ring their agent. They're getting robbed, they'd ring their agent. Flat tyre, ring your agent.
What?
Flowers for the missus. I'm talking anything.
But would that not be the job of a PA?
That's what agents are. Really? That is what agents are. You've hit the nail on the head.
Really?
Agents these days are there just to do absolute... Listen, some players aren't too bad with it. And
of course.
There are some players that are very bad with it. There's the famous one where Balotelli set off fireworks in his house.
Yes, he did.
And he rung his agent before he didn't ring anyone else.
What?
So he rung his agent before ringing the police or the fire brigade to come sort. Their whole life is getting looked after by whether it's the club or the agent. So anything goes wrong or anything they need to know, they're gonna just get the agent to do it.
Oh mate, I actually thought being an agent would be quite fun, but
it depends on the player. It can be.
Yeah.
But if you're with a nightmare player who's high profile, earning a lot of money, you want to keep on his good side, don't you? You want to keep earning from him.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. Balotelli's a prime example.
Yeah. So you're going to do them little, thankless tasks.
Your Balotellis, your Ibras.
Yeah.
Paul Pogba,
yeah.
Big money earners, big celebrities.
Who've known to be a bit.
So you are going to just book them a hotel and get them some flowers if they need them?
Yeah.
That is mental.
Yeah.
So an agent is a PA?
An agent these days, yeah, it's a PA.
That is wild.
It's a PA, it's a counsellor, it's your therapist.
Yeah.
It's a lot, yeah.
So when you had an agent, for you,
yeah,
because you're not an arse most of the time, would you ask them for anything else, or was it purely contract based?
There was a couple issues within the club at times that I'd get them. Sometimes they'd help me sort out.
Yep.
And then, how I got sold, I mentioned I got recommended by someone else. But how they really sold it to me was they just sent me some boots and some trainers, some football boots.
They bought you?
They bought me with a pair of Nike trainers and a pair of Nike boots. Yeah.
How old were you?
16.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
I see them at the door. I was like, Mum, this is it.
This is the one.
I found the one.
So they are not bribing.
No, they're bribing. Of course they are.
Gifts.
They're going to spend a couple £100 on a player at the start because they could earn them, one move could earn them millions of pounds.
And it worked.
It worked, yeah.
Were they nice trainers, nice boots?
Yeah, what were they? They were like, I think they might have been the Phantoms at the time. They were nice, man. Yeah, very nice.
A couple £100, no?
Yeah.
Wow.
At the time as well, yeah. So, and I'd just started full-time football.
Yeah.
So I thought, started full-time football, getting free.
Need those nice boots.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it was lovely. And also the agency was New Era, and the Rio's 5 brand was obviously.
Yes, yeah.
So they brought me in, showed me the place, and then they just sent me away with sort of a goodie bag of all the 5 merchandise.
Nice. You've still got it?
I have actually, yeah.
Yeah. You have to bring it in for a show and tell one.
I actually have.
I like that. So it worked.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there anything outrageous I've asked for?
You were quite young.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I guess it's a bit different.
I mean, the most outrageous thing I've had my agent do, which is not that outrageous. But
Yeah.
I remember getting my car nicked.
Oh yeah.
And I'd just like ring up my agent to like tell him what's happened, and for some reason, and then he'd be like on the phone to like the local car pound just checking if it was in there, because they said like sometimes that might happen, it might not have been nicked. So little bits like that they'd look after.
It's so funny because even at the grand old age of 29, I'd ring my dad.
Yeah.
And say, like, oh, Dad, ring these people, help me here. So I guess it is.
I just didn't want to ring my dad because I didn't want to tell him I got my car nicked.
Was it your fault?
Yeah, I think I left it unlocked with the engine running.
Engine running?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is your fault, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair play to your agent.
Yeah.
If I was at a Premier League facility,
Yeah.
I assume there's agents there sometimes.
Yeah, of course.
How do I spot an agent? What does an agent look like?
Well, firstly, there won't be in any club gear. Club gear. So they'd wear something smart.
Suited and booted?
It'd be smart.
Yeah,
Wouldn't necessarily be a suit, but it'd be smart.
Trousers, shirt.
Yeah, something like that, or something like woolly. They'd have, maybe a bit of they might have a briefcase or a nice posh holdall.
Oh, nice.
Big watch, smart hair, and then they'd obviously be in the part of the training ground where agents go. So they'd sit in like the posh VIP waiting area.
Wow, like celebs.
Yeah, because the only reason they're there is to speak to really the director of football or the sporting director at the club to broker a deal. And if the club want them there, they want to pretty much sign the player or renew the contract. So they're going to look after the agent. I
guess so. I was kind of thinking, because I think everyone has a preconceived idea of an agent being like a wheeler dealer. And I thought that they would just like turn up and be like, my player needs more money.
No.
But actually, the club want to sign you.
Yeah.
So they're going to treat the agent like a king.
Yeah, they want to, and the nicer you treat the agent, the club might be able to get a better deal with it. So they, they'll just be waiting in like a reception area until they're called in to.
That's quality.
Have a chat.
And when you talk about big watch, do they need to show that they're in money?
I don't know if they want to show they're in money, but they want to look the part. Like, it's not just that's just what agents wear. You do need to look like you're representing a big player. Yeah, you're representing a lot of money. Yeah, you deal with a lot of money. Yeah. So I suppose they do want to look like they have money.
Well, I think it's if
he turns up in a tracksuit, I'm not going to think. Like, I'm not going to take him serious.
Yeah, they are salespeople.
Yeah.
Right. And I've got the question here: are they your typical salespeople? Because salespeople, if they're having a meeting trying to win business, which is what an agent is doing, right? Trying to win business, they're rocking up with a Rolex on just to say, like, I get business.
Yeah.
So I guess it completely makes sense that they are salespeople. Are they a bit like, oh, geezer, come down here, we'll talk about it? Or are they well-spoken?
Nah, it varies. I'd say it's probably more the first one than being well-spoken.
Really?
Yeah. It probably, Jamie Rao, who was the owner of New Era, he's more like the first one.
Is he?
Geezer. Who's like Rio Ferdinand's agent.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just very... First of all, they're very ruthless. You've got to be really ruthless as an agent, as we spoke about earlier. Yeah. Like the deals go bad. You've got to be, a strong. You've got to have a strong presence.
Yeah.
And then you've just got to be good people skills, good sales skills, and know how to navigate a conversation.
But I think I've got that.
You reckon you could be an agent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So right now,
I'll tell you what. So Ken's not here, right?
Yes.
So let's say you're Ken's agent.
Yeah. Okay.
I am the sporting director of Ken's in the National League of a League 2 club.
Okay.
You've got to sell to me why you think Ken should be the striker of my team.
Okay.
I'm mid-table in a League 2 team.
We've done our introductions.
Right, let's go.
Hello, Lewis. How are you?
Hi.
Nice to see you, geezer. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good.
Fantastic. I'm glad we're here together to talk about the unbelievable, handsome, why are you laughing? Ken Charles. You are currently sitting mid-table. How many goals you scored this season?
We average about 1 to 2 a game.
Not enough. If you want to be pushing for that League Two title, you need a killer in front of goal.
Has he ever played in League Two?
He hasn't, but that's a good thing.
Why?
Because he's hungry. National League, he's too good for National League. There are so many clubs sniffing around, but we've come to you first because he wants to play for you.
I've got League One strikers I could sign.
Why haven't you? Too expensive. Here's the good thing about Ken Charles too. It's not going to cost you too much money. So you've got a striker that's been banging in goals National League, hungry for more, and he's not going to cost you what a League One striker's cost you, that he's going to drop down. You don't want that.
Is he going to give me the goals, though? Has he ever played in League Two? He doesn't have that proven experience.
Let me tell you, he's going to get you the goals. Sometimes you have to take...
Off of what basis?
Sometimes you've got to take a chance. You do the lottery, don't you? Of course you do the lottery, because you're taking that chance to win. Ken Charles is your chance to win. What are we saying?
I'll have a think and get back to you.
Okay.
You were very pushy there.
Yeah, I was pushy.
Yeah, that's what. I mean, you have to be like that as an agent.
When it comes to
I don't
sales,
think I've represented a chairman well.
Pissing himself.
Yeah, started laughing at the table.
There's
That's a hard argument as well to just randomly jump up a league.
Yeah, of course. There's a very fun. It's an interesting thing to do because if you've ever done sales or negotiations,
yeah,
there is always going to be pushback.
Yeah,
always. Because even if
they really want to sign the player.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We really want to sign Bukayo Saka for Real Madrid. All right, I want 300 grand. We only want to pay him 200 grand. That is pushback.
Yeah.
So it is who breaks first.
Yeah.
So there's an element of being pushy.
Yeah.
I don't know why I started talking about the lottery.
You would have lost it there. You would have lost
I would have lost it there.
This guy's not serious.
It does fluster you though.
Yeah.
Like we've got League One strikers you can sign.
And I'm not exactly an intimidating figure.
Yeah. But it's knowing what to say when.
Yeah.
And
you get that from experience.
Yeah. Experience. How do I start off?
And having a good product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Ken Charles is not. I'm joking. Ken.
Wow, Ken.
Love you, bro.
We'll see if Ken, we won't mention that. Let's see if Ken watches this.
Yeah, let's see. Let's test him. How do I become like an agent? So I've got to do some tests nowadays, right?
Yeah.
What do I start? Do I go to Sunday League team and try and start at the bottom?
Yeah. I mean, if you're starting at the bottom, it's next to impossible. You can't really start with you can't really. If I wanted to become an agent and I didn't know any footballers, and then I reached out to, let's say, even National League standard, if I reached out to them, let's say I got 5 players, I'm not going to be earning the money that's going to be I can live off.
Yeah.
Even if I've got a few National League players, you really need to know someone who's League 2, League 1 or above, and if you're going League 2, League 1, you need a lot of them.
Yeah.
If you want to actually make a living out of it, so a lot of the agents, if they're not big ex-footballers doing it, like I said, they're good businessmen that will join maybe an agency.
Yeah.
Get to know certain players, get to work with big players, and then build from there. And if they want to branch off on their own, they can.
Yeah.
Or it will just be people that know the footballers. Let's say I know one big Premier League footballer. I want to be an agent now. I've spoke to him. I've convinced him. Let me become your agent.
That's true.
I work with him, and I make a living off him for a year, 2 years, and then I can start using that as a case study, I suppose, to then try and get some other footballers.
Yeah. Does it go that way sometimes? Just
you
getting your mate to do it? Because we said you need to trust them.
Yeah.
Keeping it in the family. Could I say to my mate, if you dedicate yourself to this, you can be my agent, and then I guess it can spiral from there, can't it? If he does a good job with me, then he's going to sign you. He's going to sign Ken. Yeah.
That's what happened with New Era, the agency I was with. The owner was Jamie Morelli. He played. He was an ex-player. He stopped and he convinced Rio, when he was at the peak of his career, to become his agent.
Good move.
And he done amazing for him.
Good move.
Yeah, but that's what it is. It takes someone who's... you'd want to do it. If I was a player, I'd have to understand or know that the person I'm bringing on is business savvy, though. Is really about it. Not just a friend who says, can I be your agent?
Yeah.
It's no.
They need to have something about them, don't they? Because we've just seen, you can crumble.
Yeah, you can crumble.
Agents making money.
Yeah.
How do they actually make money negotiating a contract?
Yeah, so that's changed as well, actually. So it used to be 5 or 10% of the weekly wage will get paid by the club to the agent. Okay?
Oh.
If they brokered the deal.
So it wouldn't be coming out of your pocket?
No.
Oh, okay.
It depends on the deal.
Yeah, okay.
But let's say 5%. I think they're now putting a cap on it, or they're trying to put a cap on it, so it goes down to even less, 2% or something like that.
Really?
So you'd get money off the players' wages, but let's say the player's on 100k.
Yeah.
You've got 3 players. That's 300k. This is like big hitters, obviously.
Yeah.
That means you're earning 30k a week. If you get that's 10%. You're earning, let's say, 15k a week.
Yeah.
Then you also get money you'll get a decent percentage of the transfer fee.
Yeah.
So 30 million, you might get 5 to 20% of that. So a decent amount of that.
Yeah.
And it's all about just building your bases up, and that's why agents like having players move a lot.
Yeah.
Because they get money every time they move.
That is crazy. And if you think about someone like
Sponsorship deals, stuff like that as well.
I was about to come on to that, but someone like Mino Raiola, who was like Pogba, Balotelli, Ibrahimovic,
Laughing.
5% of their weekly wage. Are you mental?
He's a lot.
Just them 3.
Yeah, so he's getting 5% of the weekly wage. All the big percentage of their transfer fee, big percentage of all their sponsorship deals, all their media deals.
Yeah.
Like, he is laughing.
Is there an industry standard for sponsorship? So if like Puma come to you and say, we want to do a boot deal with you, we want to be in an advert. Is there?
There's not standard.
No. So you'd have
to
negotiate that with your agent, what he would take.
Yeah. Oh, what he would take?
What he would take.
Yeah, you probably would negotiate that. Yeah.
Oh, that's a bit tough, isn't it?
Yeah, but that would probably be like, let's say I sign with the agency for 2 years. That would be within that contract. When you sign with the actual agency.
Oh, I see.
That any media deals we get, we take this much.
So there's no flat fees. There's no like, I'll give you 20 grand now and you're my agent.
Yeah,
it's all percentage based.
No, yeah, you don't just buy the agent.
They can earn some serious coin.
I always think like the agents. Obviously, it's hard to get in that situation, but the agents at the top level does just seem like a piece of piss, doesn't it?
It really does.
Like, I feel compared to someone who's like hovering about the lower leagues and the younger players.
This is the thing, isn't it? Because if you've got Ibrahimovic as your client, you're not going to clubs saying, do you want him? Clubs are coming to you and saying, we want him. And then you're going to go to them and say, it's only going to be 400 grand a week.
Yeah.
They say yes or no. 5% off that. Jesus Christ. I might become an agent, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it is easy once you get there. But one thing that just popped to mind of how another way agents can get big players is they'll go for the young players who are 15, 14. And
the wonder kids.
Yeah, but they might get 20 of them. And one of them might come good.
Yeah.
And then that's where it gets ruthless, because they might ship the other 19 off to, like, when they've maybe not playing, they'll just cast them aside.
Yeah.
But then they've got that one who's taken them through.
If you think about like Bukayo Saka starting at left back for Arsenal, there's not too many massive left backs in the world, is there? And then if you've got him then,
which is
to be one of the best right wingers in the world, laughing.
Yeah, you're laughing. It's great.
So the big agents that are laughing, Mino Raiola, Jorge Mendes, why are they so successful? What are they doing that the others aren't? Or is it a slight case of luck?
Yeah, there's definitely massive case of luck.
Yeah.
But also, I think all the names you just mentioned were all big in business away from football. I think.
I see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they all done well in business away from football, having the right network and connections.
Yeah.
Probably introduce them to them players and and started from there. So it's been in a good situation, a good network to get you in them positions.
Yeah.
But of course, if he does a bad job in 2 years, he'll still be out. But it's just hard to do a bad job with Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So no, after all that, do you reckon you could be an agent?
I really like the sound of it, you know.
Yeah.
I think there's an element of sales, which I've done before. There's an element of being a bit pushy, which I can do quite well. There's an element of having to be confident in front of people, which I think I can do. The only thing that is seeming a bit weird to me is them ringing me like I've punctured my tyre. I don't care.
There's another thing as well. You've got to go to a lot of games. You've got to watch a lot of football all over the country.
Why?
Well, so agents, every time I played, my agent would always watch me play every single game.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'm being stupid now, but why would they need to... Like, obviously, they'd see you play. Why would they need to be there every time?
Or there'd be someone from the company.
Yeah.
Yeah. They would watch, because first of all, they've got to support their players they look after. So they're not really representing them that well if you don't go and watch them play football.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they also like looking at your game and helping you improve with it, analysing it. They might give they might pull some clips up for you to look at.
Really?
Yeah. And then the other side of it is, if I'm an agent, I need to sign the best young talent.
Yeah.
How am I going to know what the best young talent is if I don't go and watch football matches? So agents will be all over the country for the under 18s, under 21s.
Kind of scouts as well.
They are scouts.
Personal scouts.
Like you have, if you're a big agency, you'll have specific scouts go and look, but you need to have the agents as well to go and look. Although there is funny rules with that. Like a lot of clubs don't. Well, they do. They don't. If you're a licensed agent, they don't like letting you watch certain games. You won't be allowed.
Do they not?
So then the agencies will have someone who's not a licensed agent, player liaison, who's allowed to go in.
Why do they not like them watching?
Because their clubs and agents don't generally have a good relationship.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess it's like you're just trying to pick who you want.
Yeah.
And that's not what the clubs want for their players, is it?
Yeah. They don't generally have a good relationship. And also, I don't think if they're below 16, the agents can't directly speak to them.
Ah, okay.
So that's when you'll get the player liaison to go speak to them and sort of be the sort of messenger.
No way.
Yeah. It's mad.
Okay. I've changed my mind. That's too much. I don't want to be an agent anymore. Done.
Yeah, mate. But and also we're speaking of like the agents going to watch young players. The demands young players are having for agents these days. I've heard some crazy stories.
Really?
Yeah. So again, I was speaking to an agent not too long ago, and they were telling me that there was a few different agencies trying to sign this young player, Premier League club, and as they had their meeting with him, the player's 16, maybe 15, and the first thing the player said to the agent was, "How much money are you going to pay me to sign with you?"
Oh, wow!
Like if a kid's thinking that at 15, I don't think it's going to go too well long term.
But that's probably parents, isn't it? We've spoken about pushy parents before.
It's pushy parents, and it's also when you're the top player in the team at a Premier League club at 15, the club will really look after you. So you'll feel that love. You'll know you're special. You're getting loads of agents come and speak to you. All of a sudden, your head's getting massive, and you're in a powerful position where you can demand money off these people, and you're playing them at their own game.
That is mad.
Yeah.
Is that you speak like there's a lot of agents and agencies out there? Is there?
There is hundreds, if not thousands.
Is there?
There's obviously there's the big hitters.
Yeah.
Which will then get, like I said, get mass amounts of young players and then shift off the bad ones.
Wow.
After a few years, but then there's loads that are just out on their own. You don't need.
Didn't even I think. Because you don't know agents.
Yeah.
Like, fans don't, apart from the two big ones that we mentioned, you don't really know about agents.
Yeah.
I thought, obviously, there's a bunch. I did not think there would be thousands.
A lot of them obviously hear the money you can earn, so they'll have their stable job, and then they'll go and try and pick up these young players that because they can't earn a living off it
Little side hustle.
Yeah, and then hopefully one of the players comes good.
I could do that.
Yeah, you do that.
Side hustle agent.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Ball Talk Agency.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of players in this building at times.
There we go.
Yeah.
Done.
Ball Talk Agency.
Why not?
We could do that. Listen, why don't we?
Right, cut the cameras. We're setting up an agency.
We actually could do that. I know loads of the young players.
Ken, first client.
Yeah.
Oh, has he got an agent?
I don't know.
Sacked.
He does now.
Right. That's settled. We are going to become agents. Who knew that would happen in this episode? Thank you very much for listening, and join us next week. We'll be talking about all things fitness. So put the pie down, go on a run. See you next week.
Put the pie down.